Yesterday we had a meeting being held by Minister Catherine Martin with those in the entertainment industry. Rather than react quickly to that meeting, I've spent the day trying to contact them, talking to most of those who were in attendance, and kind of the newspapers today carried some part of what happened at that meeting, where Minister Catherine Martin deflected and said that she had no ability the rollout of a time frame for the events industry coming back to work fully, and that she can't get onto the. Having done so, it shows her own failures, but now in particular it is up to Micheál Martin as Taoiseach, Leo Varadkar as Minister for Enterprise, and it is an industry to ensure that there is clarity as quick as possible. The events industry is going to be opened in full. That is all that those who are working in the sector have called for from the start. Without that, it will be a lot of people. EPIC, the organisation which coordinates a lot of those who are industrial or of the music industry, MIA, those who are picketing outside here during the week, the performing art schools, they have all called for clarity to put in place the reopening quickly to ensure that those in the industry can go back to work, those who can't go back to work can stay, which will support them fully, and that the children who avail of performing schools can go back without having to look around at 40,000 people in Croke Park in a week's time, and look at the rest of society opening up, and that they are still basically locked down. So now it is over to this happens, and this happens quickly, that the roadmap is delivered, and that Minister Martin is sidelined because that's what she's done herself by capitulating and saying that she has no more role in this, that it's over to the COVID committee. That's not good enough. As Minister for Culture, that the Minister for Social Protection hasn't said anything on the fact that there's so many in this industry are still on the PUP payment and are going to be for the and that there isn't proper guarantees to ensure that they can survive during the next number of months when there aren't live events happening. Even if you announce in the morning that the live events industry can open up again, it will take months upon months for that to happen. We've already seen decisions that are taken which don't lend themselves to any logic. The likes of Electric Picnic being refused earlier this summer. On the island, events happening with no problem whatsoever, with over 10,000 people at them, and as I mentioned earlier, Croke Park having 40,000 people at it at the hurling final and football final.
Can I just ask, that obviously the Cabinet Subcommittee is meeting today. The government has said they're going to have a roadmap by the end of this month, but you have, as you mentioned, the live music industry, you have the Restaurants Association today looking for a number of priorities, getting rid of the COVID surge, getting rid of social distancing. We understand that the government's priority will be colleges, schools, but is that good enough? Is it moving quick enough? Is it giving the different sectors enough clarity? What's your own take on it?
Well, look, we've always said from the outset that all of this has to be guided by public health advice. And again, we don't have the most up-to-date, detailed public health advice that the subcommittee obviously have access to. What everybody wants is clarity. What everybody wants is the roadmap. And when I talk to people in different sectors, they understand that while it might be tomorrow or the day after, surely it is reasonable to give people that roadmap so that they have the clarity and they can plan. So what I'd like to see, and as Aengus outlined earlier in terms of is to provide that roadmap. We've had it for sports, we've had it for restaurants, we've had it for indoor retail. I think the government needs to provide that clarity for everybody and make it as simple and clear as possible. And I think if they do that, it'll be much easier for people to buy into it and to work our way through what's hopefully the final weeks and months of this lockdown.
Aengus, do you think Mr Martin needs to be on the Cabinet Subcommittee about the month?
It would be a lot more useful if the Minister of one of the only industries that is fully locked down is on that committee, so that she can impress upon them what she heard yesterday and what she's been hearing for months from those in the industry, I think is a ridiculous situation where she's not on it, to lend that voice and to give an understanding to those who are on the committee exactly what is happening. I think if she's not on it, the onus then is on the Taoiseach to take on board this, and the onus is on Leo Varadkar as Minister for Enterprise, because it is an enterprise, it is an industry. These are people who are self-employed in many cases, who have been locked out of their business by the state since COVID began.
And just as you mentioned, obviously clarity is really important in relation to the roadmap, but would you agree with the government's perhaps approach that the important thing is getting the schools back and the colleges open, before looking at live music, whether that be indoor, outdoor, increasing it?
I think it's possible to do both. I think it's possible to prioritise certain sectors, but to give clarity. Again, when I talk to people, for example, people who are organising indoor training for children in contact sports, for example, people who are organising live events and things, what they're saying to me is all they want is an indication of the map, because particularly for larger live events, as Aengus said, you can't organise them overnight, it takes time. So therefore, our argument isn't prioritised. It's to provide clarity for everybody, so everybody knows what that roadmap is. And again, if they do that, they have to do it in a very clear and a very simple way, not the very complex and contradictory way they've done up to this point in time.
Aengus, the Wild Week menu in Yale that they're Catherine Martin, agus Arnell and QIB all the Shian
Well, fi sé tobuisteach mas an hain, mar dúirt an airland nach féidir lei tionachra bheith an subcommittee atá bunathe chun daile le COVID, nach meid sí agus dá gur suas an Taoiseach agus siúdatáir an coiste cinenne dhéanamh mada leis an amclár donna oscailt. Tá gá inis láirlach don Taoiseach denmh cinnte de go méid an amclár sin ann go dtigeann siad go bhfuil ag obair ó thaobh ceolda, ó thaobh drámaíochta, ó thaobh gacaile rud tá in san live entertainment industry a gléitar ar inis go bhfuil agus céanúair a tharlá sé ionas gur féidir ósan planála dhéanamh agus dul a rascadí an slí batha bhí acu. Tá siad an ggéir céim le breis bliain inis. Ba cóga bheith Catherine Martin ar an coiste mar tá tuiscinnta cé tréis éisteachta thabhairt dóibh siúd agus na hagras difriúla tá glas an gnó atá có ag an rialtas, tá an tuiscinn sin cé Mona bhfuil sé ar an coiste caithí an Taoiseach denmh cinnte de go bhfuil caithí Leo Varadkar mar an aire tionsclaíochta, caithí sé sin na huiscint agus an tuiscinn sin a chur trasna, so an géir gá inis na soléireacht agus an